Disclaimer: the content provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. While we discuss topics related to mental health advice, life wisdom, and alike, the opinions expressed are personal views of the hosts and do not constitute professional, legal, or medical advice. We make no representations or warranties about the accuracy or completeness of the information discussed. Any action you take based on the information in this podcast is strictly at your own risk, and we are not liable for any losses or damages in connection with its use. Additionally, this podcast may contain discussions around addictions, substances, which are intended for adult audiences. We do not endorse any illegal activities. Please consult your local laws before engaging in any actions related to this content. By listening to this podcast, you agree that you are over the age of 18 or the age of majority in your jurisdiction and understand the terms of this disclaimer.
Welcome to the Balancing Forces podcast, where two opposites collide in the best way possible. One brings the fire,
the other keeps it chill.
But together we share life's lessons, hard-earned wisdom,
advice you can actually use.
Whether you need a fresh perspective or just a laugh, we're here to elevate your mind. So buckle up, because things are about to get real and
really funny.
Are you ready to level up your astrology game? Join the Alchemist Laboratory by Solar Systems. For just $33 a month, you get access to 10+ courses, a resource library, manifestation secrets, live Q&As, and so much more. Over $2,300 in value. Transform your understanding of astrology and unlock hidden knowledge. Sign up now through the school app and follow Solar Systems on TikTok and Instagram.
Chapter 29, Jumping Ship. I want you to do a visualization with me. First, what's that part of life that isn't working for you? Perhaps it's your whole doggone life. Now, think of this life you've been living, the relationship you've been in, or the career path that's not working as a big old schooner ship with sails and masts. See, that ship is falling apart, rotting and on fire, or perhaps even sinking. Instinct says to get off a sinking ship. The simple fact of life is that it's easy to jump from this ship when you can see the next ship in the distance. Making big life changes is doable when we know what's next, when there's something better to swim to. But what if you can't see the next ship on the horizon? What if you can't see the next relationship, career move, next step you need to take with a troubled son or daughter, or the next anything in life? What if all you can see on your horizon is the pseudo-security of the slowly sinking ship you're on? Truth is, you gotta learn to swim. You gotta learn to tread water. It's no coincidence that in dream interpretations, as well as the text and histories of the world's religions and myth systems, water is often seen as symbolic of or as a metaphor for the soul or the deepest, scariest parts within a person. Thus, to dive into the water, to jump from security into the insecurity of following soul, is to swim amid your own scariest inner parts. To swim, to tread water, is to essentially finally sit in that which you have spent your life running from, the lies and the stories that have been dogging you your whole life. The reason we cling to that which is secure, the reason we stay on a ship that is sinking, or at least terribly uncomfortable, painful, just crummy, or no fun anymore, is not because of the insecurity of not knowing what ship is next, per se, but because being in that insecure state demands energy, lots of it, energy which now can no longer be directed towards running from or stuffing down all the crap you've been running from. Further, treading water or not being in motion swimming towards whatever is next means that you are a ripe breeding ground for all that stuff to finally invade every pore of your body. Again, more anxiety. In my final year of seminary, decades ago, I took a class simply titled Weddings and Funerals. The professor made a fascinating point quite specific to the topic at hand, the liturgies of weddings and funerals. Yet relevant to this discussion of fear of jumping ship, he simply offered the query, why do people, even those who are devoutly non-religious, come to church and religion in times of weddings and funerals? Why then? What is it that's unique to those two situations that draws people to something they otherwise avoid? He then went on to answer his own question. On top of the sheer gravity that religion brings to certain situations, there is something very powerful about ritual and ritualized behaviors, he said. The power of ritual. There is something uniquely soothing about familiar repetitive behavior, as well as familiar setting faces. Collegiate and NHL hockey goalies are notorious for their elaborate pregame and in-game rituals, from elaborate visualizations to dressing the exact same way before every game, from counting the number of times they tap their stick on the goalposts at a face-off to counting the number of water sips they take from their bottle. The high stress of being completely in the spotlight for 3 hours, while 30-plus high-velocity hockey pucks are shot at your face demands implementing actions that calm the nerves and, if lucky, invoke the favor of the hockey gods. But it is true of all positions in sports. Every baseball player has a ritual, great or small, before stepping into the batter's box. Musicians and artists, too. My ex wife was a Broadway level dancer who had a series of rituals on performance day, from exactly what type, when, and how much coffee to drink to her series of stretches. Truth is, we all have highly ritualized behaviors, whether we're cognizant of them or not. Familiarity is an incredibly comforting and strengthening element of life as we face the anxieties and fears of both daily life and big decisions. However, ritual and familiarity also have a tremendously debilitating power. Often we cling to them because the thought of new action, new paths, new faces, and settings instill fear in us. It is so easy to hold tightly to that which is familiar, patterns, environs, faces, even when we know it is simultaneously sucking the very life out of us. But the simple truth is, sometimes we just have to get off a ship that stinks. Sometimes things are so bad we just have to leave. Sometimes the universe is screaming to us so loudly, our external world has completely fallen apart and our internal world won't stop churning. There is nowhere to run and no way to deny the destruction. And that is a scary proposition. The notion of trusting that if I jump ship, I'll be okay no matter what is an anathema to most folks, and it's inconceivable. Yet, this is the calling of the gods. Your soul is calling you down into the dark waters of your soul, into yourself, into the dark forest. You are not just being called to the next ship, the next path, or the next distraction. You're being called to the solution, if you have the courage. You're being called into the thing you've been running from, and also to the pilot light of your soul, down to that which is driving everything. You're being called down so that you can finally see and smash the cement, the very bedrock of your being that has been imprinted with the messages that are corrupting the entire system of your life. Jumping ship is terrifically scary stuff, especially if there is no new ship to swim to, instead, only the knowledge that this present ship ain't where I'm supposed to be. But often in life, the only way out is in. The only way to a new life is into the thing that you fear the most. Song recommendation. Download Place in This World by Michael W. Smith. Beautiful power ballad that is so apropos to this notion of the divine spark burning deep inside each one of us, particularly when we consider that at our deepest depths of our own truest voice is indistinguishable from the voice of God Himself. And it is that true divine voice that gives us direction, gives us hope, and gives us solace when our heart most longs for reprieve from the pain and longs for the possibility of true and lasting joy. So remember, we're giving away this signed autograph copy of There's a Hole in My Love Cup. To enter, just like, subscribe, and comment. Also, sign up for our Beacons link to get into the giveaway. Thank you very much for tuning in. Stay amazing, stay awesome, and remember always to keep it real.